I mean, can you see now? Can you see that we live in a country where at least half of the population has what I would call Stockholm syndrome? That they keep bowing down to that same entity that causes all of the problems? Hello, YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now that the shenanigans of this contest is pretty much over, and what I mean by shenanigans is that I remember when I was, I don't know, in my early 20s or in my early adult years, where one of these contests that happen in countries, especially ours, you can count and get the results in one day. I remember that. And now for some reason, now that we have better technology, it takes so much longer, sometimes weeks. But now that this is pretty much over, let's get down to business. And the business is this, is that we are headed toward a dark winter. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that what I mean by a dark winter is not one winter, it's many years. And let me go ahead and talk to you about what I see coming forward. And unfortunately, it's not good. I spoke about, probably for like the last 2 years or so, I've been asked questions, what do you see happening in the next several years? And I said, well, 2022 towards the end is going to be pretty bad. And you can look back in my videos. I'm not going to look for it, but I know I've said it. I said it's going to be pretty bad towards the end of 2022. And it was before all of this health crisis stuff took place and all of the shenanigans that's been going on with the contests have taken place in the last couple of years or so. And the reason I see it getting pretty bad is because the train is going to continue to go a little bit faster towards the wall. And what we have to do now is we have to prepare and continue to prepare for the final outcome of all of these agendas that the clowns that sit atop their ivory towers want to push toward us. Now, let me tell you, the next couple of years is going to be pretty tough. It's not going to be as tough, I think, but things are still going to go downhill. However, at the end of 2024, going into 2025, it's going to get even rougher. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about that's what you have to be looking at. You have to be looking out into the future to determine how to prepare today. All right, let's put this contest over. Let's put this contest behind us, right? Even though it hasn't completely been decided yet, let's put it behind us and look toward the future. And what do you see? No matter what the outcome of the contest that happens in 2024, going into 2025, no matter what the outcome is, there's going to be a lot of violence in the street. You can look forward to paying a whole lot more for everything. And I saw something yesterday happen, and it's happening again today, ladies and gentlemen. I have to take a segue off of this. I have to get off of this for a second. But I saw something happen that I've never, ever seen before, and I just have to show you. So just a second, let me look it up. I'm not sure if you all know what the significance of this is, but I've never seen this happen. And what you're looking at here is the chart of the DXY, or the dollar. Right? It's the value of the dollar as compared to other currencies that are major currencies around the world. And in one day, ladies and gentlemen, it dropped 2.15%, or 237.5 basis points. That is huge. I mean, that is incredible. I've never seen the dollar drop that much in one day. And as you can see here, it started the day, it started at, let me see, 110.44, and it ended the day at 108.06. That was yesterday. Now today, take a look at this. Today, it's already dropped about another close to 1%. That is incredible. And I honestly can't tell you whether it's going to continue to drop or not. Taking a look at this, it looks like we have a head and shoulder right here, which means that it's going to continue to drop down. And if it gets below this line right here, which is the 200 day, then it is going to plummet. And what does that mean to you? To me, the way that I see it, it means that the Dow Jones and the markets are going to skyrocket. They're going to melt up. That the prices of everything is going to go up, including the stock market, the price of gold and silver, the price of commodities, everything is going to go up, meaning what? That it's going to cost you an awful lot more to live. It's going to cost you an awful lot more to purchase those things that you need to live. We will have a downturn in the economy, i.e., homes, cars, gadgets, things like that you don't need to live. But the price of gasoline, fuel, food, rent, housing is going to skyrocket, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we had a lot of inflation going on when the dollar was getting stronger. Can you only imagine what inflation is going to be like when the dollar plummets? It's incredible. I am very sure that they're working, if not already have that next system that they're going to push us into, the next monetary system that they're going to push us into when the dollar finally fails. But this is the time that you need to be preparing as best as you can. After 2024, 2025, after that contest, things are going to get very violent in the street, ladies and gentlemen. And I know it's still 2 years out. However, this is when you need to start preparing for that. The agenda that these clowns have set forth for us is an agenda that will include starvation, right? That will include complete enslavement of the human population via a digitalized world, i.e., digitalized currency, and a carbon credit that will be attached to a currency in addition to a social credit score system. If you don't believe me, just look around and see what's going on. Well, what do we do about this, AP? Well, obviously, as you can see here in the last few days, I've stated this before, your vote doesn't really count very much. And it doesn't matter which side is in office. The only thing that matters is that depending on which side is in office, depends on how fast the train is going towards the wall. But that train is eventually going to hit that wall. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be starvation. Homelessness is nothing now compared to what it's going to be. So many people are going to be losing their jobs, they're going to be losing their homes, and they're going to be finding themselves out on the street asking that one entity that caused all of this problem to solve their problems. I mean, can you see now? Can you see that we live in a country where at least half of the population has what I would call Stockholm syndrome? That they keep bowing down to that same entity that causes all of the problems? Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't protect yourselves, I guarantee you no one is going to be there to protect you. This dark winter is going to last years. It's going to last all the way into the early 2030s. And if you think I'm crazy for saying that, just take a look at history. Take a look at the Great Depression. It lasted more than a decade, I believe. And people who lost everything during the Great Depression weren't made whole again for about 25 years. It took a full generation for the country to recover from the Great Depression. And what we're going into now is going to be far worse than the Great Depression. Sure, if you're a trader, if you trade for a living like on the stock market and you're really good at it, you can make a lot of money because you can identify the technical analysis and know where things are going either way just by the way that the charts look. Because the charts are just, I guess you can call it human behavior. That's what the charts show you, human behavior. Who's buying, who's selling, when they're selling. All of these formations can actually tell you what's going to happen in the near future as far as that. So you can make money, but most people that are vested in the markets, they don't have any control over what they can do. Because most of the money that's vested in the markets, in my opinion, it's your 401ks, it's your retirements, it's your pension funds. Right? I don't think that a lot of the action that takes place in the market takes place by retail investors, meaning people that are just out there buying stock and selling stock. All right, there's a few traders involved, but most of the transactions that take place in the markets, they're taking place by computers. And those computers are being run for like hedge funds that manage retirements and such. People are going to lose everything. So you have to prepare now for those things. Prepare now for the price of fuel to double next year. I can see us by the end of next year paying, I don't know, upwards of $10 a gallon for gasoline and more than that for diesel. The plan is to destroy fossil fuels, and in destroying fossil fuels, the economy will be destroyed. And in destroying the economy, you will be destroyed. Why? Because the average American person is in the middle class. The middle class is what runs an economy. And if an economy goes down, the middle class goes down. So start to prepare now. Again, there's going to be a lot of violence in 24, 25. Why? Because it doesn't matter what side wins that contest. It doesn't matter. The other side is not going to accept it for whatever reason. All right, for whatever reason. I know that there's some legitimate reasons out there why one side wouldn't take the other side's, win. I know there's some legitimate reasons out there, but does that really matter as far as what the outcome of that is going to be? And the outcome is going to be your impoverishment. Let's talk about if we get a form of governance, right, during our next election where they want to go back to the rule of law, right, where they want to have the rule of law. Is that going to stop the spending? Is that going to stop the increase in the monetary supply, i.e. inflation? I don't think that's going to stop that. It used to be that one side did not like war and the other side liked war, but now it seems that both sides want war. And in my opinion, it's because they can see that the empire is falling. And the only way that they can keep their control is to continue to print money. Because war takes a whole bunch of money. It takes a lot of money. And as long as they can continue to print money and put money into the system by giving it to whoever they want to give it to, for whatever reason they say, more money in the system, it keeps the system alive. This, as I've stated before, ladies and gentlemen, as soon as they stop printing money, as soon as they stop creating debt, our system falls. This is a debt-based monetary system, and debt has to be created all the time. So as soon as they stop, the system fails, and they will not stop doing that. You need to get all of the things that you feel you're going to need for the next several years. And that may sound like a lot, but what I mean by that is this. You can only get so much food, right? You can only get so much food, but the food that you have, you can supplement with the food that you can get. So for example, let's say that I have a year's supply of food in my pantry. It doesn't mean that I'm going to go through that food in 1 year if things go bad. Let's say that the government nationalizes the food industry and you're given ration cards and you can only get so much of whatever it is on a monthly basis. Well, you can still get that, and you should get that. But then you can use that to supplement the food that you've put away. So that 1 year supply of food that you have, it could technically be 3 or 4 or 5 year supply before you run out of that and still be able to maintain your standard of living as far as your caloric intake. That way you can stay strong, ladies and gentlemen, because in the end, as I've stated before, in the end there will be a fight. And unfortunately, we are in that cycle. We are in the cycle of dark winter, right? We are in the cycle of the dark winter of this generational cycle, right? It's called the fourth turning. And it's not going to last one winter. It's going to last several winters, and I would say close to a decade. So what I'm telling you right now may seem like, oh my goodness, it's over. No, it's not. It's happened before in history, and it will happen again. You cannot be scared of these things. You should actually be excited that you're living through a part of history that will be spoken about probably for the next millennia or so if human beings are still here. This is one of those times in history where humankind will determine whether it wants to be free or not. And right now, freedom is losing, and it really is. But from looking at history, it seems that freedom-loving humans usually wait until it's really, really late in the game before they stand up. And that's just the way it is. Look at 1776. It was years before that. It was years before 1776 that the people here in the colonies, before it was the United States of America, that they were dealing with oppression year after year after year. And there came a point where they finally told themselves, we can't take this anymore. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. It took years for it to get to that point. And that's where we're at now. We are years before 1776. So get those things that you know you're going to need when 1776 happens again, just in the 2000s. Right? And I personally feel that it will be in the 2030s, around there, that it will happen again. So you still have time to prepare, but you need to be prepared in order to make it through the next several years. Because like I said, it doesn't matter what happens in 2024. I guarantee it. It may slow down the train a little bit, but this train right now is going pretty fast, and it may hit the wall before 2024. And then if it hits the wall before 2024, do you think there may be a contest? Do you think that maybe they would postpone that contest that's supposed to take place in November of 2024? Think about it. They've done everything else. Do you think it's beyond your imagination that they do that? That they create some kind of a false flag where the contest for 2024, 2025, that would be postponed? So you have to prepare, ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm going out there a little bit, but just look at what's going on and think to yourself, what are the possibilities of us having some real serious violence going on in the street in 2024, 2025? It doesn't matter what the results are. And what are the possibilities that this government continues to become even more and more tyrannical than what it already is? And how long will it take for the people as a whole to stand up because they finally had enough? Well, I can tell you what, it's not now. People haven't realized that yet. And as I've said before, the pain has to get a lot more. The pain has to get a lot greater before people finally realize that we are strong together instead of divided. And I forgot what video I saw this on, but someone was saying that they don't think that our country is divided. I have to disagree with that. I think that our country is as divided as it's ever been. Because what I mean by division is that you have a group of people that will not reason, that will not have a conversation, that it doesn't matter what proof you put in front of their face, they will say, no, that's not real. Even though you're proving it right in front of their face, they'll say, no, that's not real. That is division. You have a side of reason and you have a side of crazies. And it doesn't matter what agenda is pushed in front of them, as long as it has a certain letter in front of it, they're going to go with it because it's what's called herd mentality. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and leave it at that for today. Hey, if you didn't take a look at the video that I put out yesterday from the coin shop, I went to Alaska Rare Coins, and this time Dick was showing us how to test gold and silver in like 3 or 4 different ways. So go check it out because it's very informative. And if you do buy gold and silver and stuff like that, you may want to check it out. That way you know that you're not getting ripped off. Other than that, we'll see you this afternoon at 2 p.m. Alaska time, 6 p.m. Eastern time for our Friday live stream. Hope to see you there. Other than that, God bless every one of you. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.